Hello vinyl community, how you doing? It's David Michael here. As you can see, new haircut today. I'll get to that in a second. Not that it's news, but anyways, how's everyone doing? First of all, I wanted to, before I get to the vinyl that I've found since my last video, this might be maybe not the last for a while, but my vinyl find videos are probably going to slow down a bit from the last 3 or 4 months anyways. The reason being is that I've gotten a clean bill of health and I'm okay to go back to work starting, it's Friday night, so I go back Sunday. Excuse me. Which is good. My mind would like to stay home, obviously, but my body says stay home, but the finances says get back to work. So, and I guess how that plays into my videos, possibly slowing down for vinyl finds is, while I was off, I've been off for a few months. If you haven't seen my videos before, it's a long story, but I've had a few surgeries lately. While I was off, go figure, I got a promotion of sorts, I guess. And so, but in order to get this promotion, I had to take a really horrible shift at work. So I'm working this crazy overnight shift where I work. So I don't know if I've ever talked about where I worked. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. I do work for our postal system here in Canada. But I work in it's like a management supervisory kind of position. Hence the haircut, you got to kind of look the part. Go figure, I sold my last record store to go work at the post office. Such as growing up and wanting a pension and security. So, anyways, working this crazy shift, I haven't quite figured out when I would even have time to go out looking for records. I'm sure I'll figure that out as time goes on. But there's other videos I can make, which leads me to a question that I'm going to pose at the end of the video today. So anyways, like I said, good news. Doctors say I'm doing okay and go back to work. So yeah, there you go. So like I said, if you see a slowdown in videos for vinyl finds, it's probably because I haven't kind of figured out my sleep patterns and when I'm going to get out and look for stuff. I'm sure I'll find time, but you know, when you have kids and a wife and you got a home and stuff, some things take priority over hunting for vinyl, obviously. So anyways, by the way, I want to say hi to everyone out there who's been nice enough to watch my videos. I don't really pay attention to numbers of subscribers. I've never really even noticed that kind of stuff, but I've noticed I've passed 300. So thank you for that. I'm happy one person watches my videos. So if you're watching this and you subscribe, that makes me happy. Thank you. I've only been doing these videos really since I've started having medical problems there in September, really. So like I said, I'm really enjoying making these videos and seeing all your videos, and I'm hoping it's something I can continue. So if it slows down a bit, give me some time, and I'm going to kind of figure out all these little weird quirks and quacks about working these crazy hours I'm going to be working. So having said that, I'm going to get right to it. This is my only new vinyl that I got, and I posted this on the YouTube vinyl community I'm on Facebook. And I didn't expect them to care, and I don't expect you to care, but it's one of those, it's a side project of a band. And once I say the band, most people kind of just tune out, because the band is the 80s band Aha, although they're much more than an 80s band to me. They're still going now, and they took a long hiatus. And during that hiatus, they all had solo projects, and one was this one, Savoy. This album is called Lackluster Me, and I think this was only, at the time of release in 1997, this was released in Norway, I believe only, where they're from. They might have made it out into European countries as well. It certainly didn't see a wide release in North America, that's for sure. And then they announced the re-release not too long ago, and I pre-ordered it, and I was able to get a copy of it. It has a CD copy inside there, and it's a lot. When you say the band Aha, a lot of people, like I said, they tune out or they think of the song "Take on Me," which I'm fucking sick of. I never want to hear that song ever again because it kind of paints them into this corner. But you know, I like all kinds of music. As you can tell by my videos, I like a lot of different stuff. And Aha is one of my favorite bands from that 80s era, but they're a lot more than that kind of Take on Me stuff. They really only had 1 or 2 albums even remotely like that, and then the rest were kind of really, you know, there's the band playing, really organic sounding, you know, drums, bass, guitar kind of thing. Really somber music, and I quite like that element of that band, and that's where this fits in. It's very much in that vein. There's some upbeat stuff on it, but it's a really, really good album. So that was my only new album purchase. I always say find, it's a purchase. Anyways, really good album by Savoy. So, the other day I was able to stop at the thrift store, and I had a couple finds. A couple really wacky off-the-wall finds. One of them being Helios Creed, The Last Laugh. It's on, if I can pull this out here, orange vinyl. This album came out in 1989, and I had this album in '89. I can't even begin to describe Helios Creed. He was the main man in a band called Chrome in the late 70s, I believe. Experimental, electronic, really harsh sounds. You'd have to look up Chrome, and I can't even really describe this album. You'd have to like maybe give it a sample. It's a fantastic album. This is a recent reissue. I'm not sure when it came out, but someone bought it and donated it to Goodwill. It's awesome because this is one of those albums that this is around the time I was graduating high school. It came out on Amphetamine Reptile Records at the time, and they're the ones who put this back out. And I really liked that label at the time. This is really this wasn't really typical of that label at the time. But it's such a great experimental album. And it's one of those albums that just kind of like I loved, and then you're in that age, you know, where you're absorbing so much music and things kind of fall by the wayside, and this album kind of fell by the wayside for me. Just because of the sheer music I was buying and taking in, and then I saw this at Goodwill, and it just like memories coming back, and it's such a fantastic album. So the Helios Creed, The Last Laugh. Someone bought this, probably didn't like it, and donated it. So there you go, $1. This one, it's a reggae 12-inch of sorts, I guess. And once again, I posted this on the YouTube vinyl community that I'm on, looking for some information. It's on the Joe Gibbs Record Globe label. They don't use catalog numbers, so trying to find it on Discogs is a roll of the dice because I couldn't find it, but I put it out there, and some really nice people, including Doug Armstrong, Fat City Vinyl, you might know. He responded, and a few other people, and they were able to find me a proper listing for it. But yeah, it's I'm not even sure if this is what's the A side, what's the B side, because those aren't even marked on here. But I'll show this to you. I'm not sure if you can kind of pick that up there. But it's a really good reggae 12-inch. Joe Gibbs and the Professionals are on side, I'm going to call this side A, with Guan and Left Me. And the B side is Barrington Levy, Errol Thompson, Quickie Divorce. And it's not in the best condition, but I did my best cleanup job, and it plays pretty nice. Surface noise, I don't care. It was such an off-the-wall kind of find that I don't find these kind of things very often, and that was just kind of a nice find. Pressing right from Jamaica. So, I mean, how authentic can that be? So, I was really surprised how much I liked this single. So, that was a Goodwill find with the Helios Creed. An album that's come in and out of my hands so many times I couldn't even tell you. I find a copy, I pass it along. I might sell it at the record fairs I sell at, but this copy I decided to keep because it's one of those bands I crave to hear every now and again, and then I look and I realize I don't really hang on to their albums. And it's ELO, Out of the Blue. That was a $1 find at Goodwill. It's in really nice condition, and it has the original poster inside. And it's on United Artists Jet Records, and maybe all the copies were on that label. Usually I'm used to seeing the CBS logo on their albums, so that was kind of a neat little thing I didn't realize. Maybe it's frivolous information, but that was kind of cool. But it's one of those albums that I see so many times that it's kind of almost like background noise now when you see those at thrift stores. But for $1 for a double album, I decided to pick it up. It's in nice condition, and I'm going to keep this one. So ELO, Out of the Blue. Blue Peter. Blue Peter, the name might not make sense to anyone who's maybe not Canadian, and even if you're Canadian, you would have to be of probably my age to remember them from the 80s. The album is called Falling, and I'm amazed that no one really gave a crap about them in the 80s in Canada, but now their albums are worth a few bucks, and that was at Goodwill for $1. And I believe the keyboard player, I can't remember I think it's Jason Snyderman. And Jason Snyderman's dad is Sam Snyderman, and Sam Snyderman owned Sam the Record Man in Canada. That might mean something to Canadians, but if you're not in Canada, Sam the Record Man was a famous chain of record stores across Canada, and they were kind of best known for their Toronto location with that big sign. If you Google it, you'll see the big sign in Toronto that was kind of it made it into some movies and TV shows. It was quite a famous landmark for Canadian music retail history in Canada. And Sam the Record Man is now sadly gone, like a lot of record stores. But I'm going to guess that having your dad be Sam Snyderman, who at the time of release, he was the big cheese in Canada for record stores, one of anyways. So I'm sure that kind of helped his cause, getting his band out there and distributed and whatnot. So that was a nice find. All their CDs were released a couple years ago, and I did pick those up, but finding their vinyl, it's not the easiest thing in the world, so $1. That was kind of a no-brainer. Pete Townsend, White City. Like the ELO, this is coming in and out of my hands several times. And at the last record fair that I sold records at, probably a year ago now, I had a copy for sale, and a guy who buys records for me, actually this was at the Calgary record fair I was selling records, sorry. A guy who buys records for me in Calgary when I sell records there at record fairs, he seems really knowledgeable, and I always try to have a look and see what he's buying, because I don't always work my tables, my wife does, for many reasons. And I think I might have talked about this before, because it's probably best I'm not around when I'm selling my records, because I have a lot of remorse. So it's best my wife does it for me. I kind of go around and look for stuff. But he found this in the bins I was selling records in, and he went on and on about how good this record sounded. And the only thing about this album I knew was the Face to Face song. I used to have MTV in Canada on big satellite dish, and MTV played the crap out of that video, and it was a good song. And I think I remember the song Give Blood, which I think might have been the second single off this album. So anyways, this guy started going on and on about this album and how happy he was to find it, and I think I might have had a $5 price tag on it, and he was ecstatic about it. And so I kind of kept that in the back of my mind. It's like, wow, okay, well that's the last copy I have, and I sold it to him. If I see it again, I'm going to buy it and see if I can hear what this guy was talking about. And sure enough, it's a fantastic sounding record on vinyl. And a quick little story about this record. When I got it, it had a warp, a little warp to it. And I've been doing something with my warps that aren't too bad, that some people might think I'm fucking crazy for doing. But I saw someone on a vinyl community, he posed this question. It wasn't really a question, it was kind of a discovery he had. He had a warped album, and he put it in his shelf, and that shelf was really compressed with records, which is not really a great idea. But he discovered after having that record on the very side against the wall of the shelf, after it was in that shelf for a while, he pulled it out to play a while later, and it was flattened. The compression of the records flattened that record. So I kind of, once again, I kept that in the back of my mind, and then I thought, well, see these records behind me here, they're all 12-inch dance singles, like 80s singles. I use them for DJing mostly, but there's a lot of stuff I use once a year, maybe. There's a lot of, stuff if I didn't have, I wouldn't care. So I did an experiment some time ago. Is that I took a lot of my crap singles, because if I wrecked those, I wouldn't give a shit. But I compressed one cube behind me, really full of records, and I did it with this one, but I can't remember which one was my first tester one. And I took the record out of the cover, and I just put it inside of a paper sleeve or something. And I put it against the wall, and I really compressed that one cube with records. Not so crazy where records are going to break, but it was tight. And I left it for about a week, and lo and behold, I took the record out and it was flat. Tried it with this record, and this record, the warp came right out. It's one of those wacky things that I don't know if I would suggest you do, but like it is, you can see that it's flat as a board, and it was, I didn't notice it when I found it at Goodwill. You have a look for condition, and you're kind of in a hurry, and you kind of, yep, good enough. I got it home, and it was, it was wavy. So yeah, I did that compression thing that I just talked about, and the record's flat as a board now. And yeah, it's one of those wacky things that I don't know, like I said, if I could suggest it to people, but it worked for me. It's kind of like wood glue. We tell people you wood glue records every now and again. They're like, some people have complete freakouts about it. You're gonna wreck your fucking records, and some people are kind of believers like me, where I do wood glue the odd album that it really desperately needs saving. Nothing, I would never wood glue anything of value, of tremendous value, anyways. But yeah, that compression thing, and then some people were commenting to this guy that yeah, they tried it and it worked too, and lo and behold, it worked. So that's a long story to get around to tell you that that's how I fixed this warp. And I do have a friend with a vinyl flat, a guy who works at a record store that I know. And those things are very hit and miss. Lip warps don't usually come out on vinyl flats, and and sometimes I just don't want to leave a record there because they have their record flats is in high demand, so it might take a month to get a record back. So that's my solution. I fill my cube full of crap 12-inch records and compress them and flat. So there you go. Did I bore the shit out of you? I hope not. On to Goodwill finds. Bebop Deluxe. Drastic Plastic. I found that at a different Goodwill, not the one that you saw in my last video of me going to Goodwills. It was a different one. I was traveling around with my wife. But white vinyl. Bebop Deluxe, you might know Bill Nelson, one of the most amazing guitar players in history, is in Bebop Deluxe. This album is fantastic. You can find this album anywhere for dirt cheap. I don't know why this one in particular, because a lot of their albums sometimes command a little bit of a higher price, but this one seems, it might have sold a lot of copies, I don't know, but it's a great album. And white vinyl for $1, good enough for me. And like I said, great album. If you know Bebop Deluxe, then you know. If you don't, maybe have a sample. Drastic Plastic by Bebop Deluxe. Amon Duel. Now this was a hell of a good find. Wolf City. Original pressing. A mighty find. This is an original UK copy. This is an amazing addition to my progressive rock collection. I don't know what I can say about this album. It's fantastic. If you don't know Amon Duel, have a listen. If you do know them, then you'll know how amazing this find is. Original UK pressing in absolute amazing condition. Not that I feel the need to justify what I'm finding by telling you how great the condition is. Sometimes, you know, there's nothing wrong with finding a VG album as long as it plays. But yeah, this is absolutely clean. Like I said, it's just kind of amazing to find these kind of records out in the wild. Amon Duel is kind of one of those bands I was late to the party with. As with a lot of progressive rock stuff that I'm starting to pick up now, like Amon Duel and Van de Graaff Generator and bands like that. So, yeah, Amon Duel, Wolf City, an amazing find, I think. Final one, nothing to jump up and scream about, but the Poppy Family. This is a K-Tail record. It's a collection, greatest hits K-Tail collection. I can't believe the amount of people who are just obsessed with Susan Jacks. Whenever I find early Poppy Family albums, people seem to lose their minds when they find out I found one, and they're always trying to get it from me. There's a lot of people, like when I was talking about when I'm selling records at record fairs, there are people who will specifically come up to me and ask me, do you have any Susan Jacks? Do you have any Poppy Family? And that only started like maybe a couple years ago, so I'm not sure if that's one of those things recently that people have picked up on. She has a beautiful voice, don't get me wrong. So I see this at Goodwill's every now and again. It's never in nice condition, and this one is in absolutely beautiful condition. So I picked it up with the intent of keeping it and giving it a listen. And see if I can understand what everyone's going crazy about with Susan Jacks. Hey everyone, you might have saw an edit there. My camera died, and I'm so smart I didn't check the battery life on my camera when I started filming. I'm smart. Can you believe I'm employed? I don't believe I'm employed, but I am. Anyways, I had to make a quick edit there. Those were my finds, and I have one correction to make. When I just realized it after the fact, is that not that anyone's going to give a crap, but the Blue Peter wasn't actually from Goodwill. It was actually one of those finds from my last video at one of those stores in that funky street I went to. It was still $1, but that's a little correction, because I think in that last video you can actually see me holding that album. So not to come across like a giant liar, I realized my mistake and I corrected it for you. There you go. Those were my finds. I said I was going to pose a quick question, and I will. I saw Billy Hurst. He posted a video, a sealed to revealed video. I don't know how popular those videos are, and I was going to ask this question because I don't know how many finds I'm going to have coming up. And I still kind of want to make videos, is that I do have sealed vinyl. In fact, I'm sitting on a 30-year-old sealed box set from an artist I love, and I don't know why I haven't opened it. It was a find I had a couple years ago, and I've been waiting for the right time. I was wondering, do you guys watch those videos? Do you care about sealed to revealed videos? I kind of liked Billy's video. That was kind of cool. It kind of helped that it was a really cool album, Cinderella Night Songs. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things. You know, if it's worth the effort to make one of those videos, will people see it? Will people care? Because, you know, if you're going to take the time to make a video, you want people to see it, obviously. So, I mean, you know, maybe leave a comment. Do you guys like those videos? Do you care? If so, maybe I'll crack some of my sealed vinyl I have. I don't like keeping sealed vinyl. It's one of those things where if I come across them, I might wait for the right time to open them. And this box that I'm referring to, I don't know why I haven't opened it yet. I think because I have it on CD. I have the CD version of the box set that I kind of play. So, anyways, if you guys care, maybe I'll make a video opening that box set. If not, I'll open it and not share it. Anyways, so if you've seen this video, it was a bit of a long one, as I'm realizing now, so I'm sorry. But maybe this is the last you'll see of my face for a while. Anyways, I've been David Michael, and I hope everyone has a great weekend, great rest of the week. I've been loving all your videos, as I always say, so thank you. And I'm going to sign off now, so take care, everyone.